everybody. Welcome to our ASTE Community Connect, our first post-conference live stream. I'm Melody. I'm the Executive Director of ASTE, and I am here with Anthony White, our ASTE Board President. Anthony, how are
Hello.
you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic.
I
Fantastic.
I
Got my
love it.
cup of coffee. Doing good.
I love
Hmm
that. Your background is amazing. It fits with my headpiece.
Yes, it is perfect. Nice AI generated image here. I wish it should have been an image of the dance floor at the conference, but
Maybe next time. So
next
if
time.
if you're joining us, whether you're watching this live or after we have after we've already said goodbye, thank you so much for joining us. Please interact with us in the comments. If we get enough people, I might just have a drawing before the end of the show because we want to hear what you have to say. Whether you've been to ASTE or not, maybe this is the first time you've heard of ASTE, so just let us know that you're watching. We'd love for you to say hello. Anthony, we are going to have a special live stream today, a little bit different than we normally do. We're going to have a panel of some of the people that joined us for ASTE and kind of celebrate and reflect our experience. Do you mind telling just anybody who's watching kind of your role with ASTE?
My role has been as ASTE board president to kind of help lead the meetings, as well as kind of helping put together the conference and ways that we can engage our membership. It's been a really wonderful opportunity for me. I'd say it was a job, not really a job, more of a passion of mine. And it's been a really fantastic year. And I have the fortune of being able to be president for another year. So,
Yay! It really was like a full-time job for you. I was working a new full-time job. You were working a new full-time job. So I'm so glad. Congratulations for being ASTE board president again. Yeah, and you did a lot. And is there anything else you want to share before we bring up another president? Another president?
um, just how amazing this conference turned out. How proud I am of all the board members and the hard work that they put in to make one of the best conferences that I've been a part of since I've been in ASTE. So
Oh, how many years have you been part of ASTE?
about 7 years, I think.
Oh, wow. Awesome. All right. And this
Yeah,
is my
I've been going for 7 years. I've been on the board for four 4 years now, I think.
Oh, wow. Awesome. All right. Speaking of the ASTE board, I'm just going to be bringing up our panelists one at a time, and we're going to bring up another president. Oh, yeah. And I have to hit okay, here we go. All right, Nikki, it's so good to see you.
I'm back.
You are back and better than ever. Tell all of us who you are, what your role with ASTE is. How many ASTEs have you been to?
All right, I'm Nikki Stein. I am the past president of ASTE. Um, we decided as a board to have me serve an extra year as past president to fill that role because Anthony is doing the presidency again. So my role with ASTE, I have gone through the I guess the tiers of president, where we start with president elect, and that's kind of just your learning year of just absorbing and it's kind of like scaffolding. We do our scaffolding for our students to make sure that they are prepared to do something on their own. And that's exactly how we've structured our board. And then I served a year as the president for ASTE 2024 Creative Outlet. And then now I am the past president. I was for this past year, and then this next year coming up. I like to tease, and you guys have corrected me, but I like to tease that my job as past president is to be the buzzkill, is to be the resident buzzkill. And, that's, I tease about that, but it's perspective. I provide that perspective of, I love these ideas that we're coming up with, and, but here is some history on maybe a situation that we've done before that just didn't work out, didn't pan out the way that we thought it would. So it's, kind of to balance those, awesome ideas that everyone is bringing to the board, because we are so collaborative. We are so big on brainstorming, but also making sure that we're not retrying things that have failed in the past.
Awesome. I love that. And you did an excellent job of guiding us this year. So thank you for that. All right. Speaking of, and we're just, I'm going to go through because we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to bring up, you said president-elect, bringing up our next president-elect and also board member, Alexis Griffey. Alexis, tell us who you are and how many ASTEs you've been to, everything.
So I'm Alexis Griffey. I'm the president-elect, and I am so thankful that Nikki has decided to stick with us because, like she said, this is going to be a year of learning and growth. And so I'm like, with this team, I'm really looking forward to having some fantastic mentors and just bringing a lot of new ideas and energy. So I'm just very excited about it.
Awesome. All right. And you, what you work in ASTE and you are, tell us about your role really quick. And then,
Yeah. So my role with ASD is the teacher expert position, which is almost like an instructional coach situation. In some other districts, I know they call it that. And I work for supporting Indigenous education. So I work with the Title VI department and the mental health department as well. So it's a really great opportunity to just spread a lot of information, work with a lot of people throughout the entire district, not just one school. And I got to call ASD out. I love ASD, but man, I mean, with becoming president-elect, you've got to represent. So definitely need to get some more ASD on the board and involved with ASTE because we're doing fantastic things in the district. So
that is awesome. I'm so glad you're on board. This is great. All right, Anthony, who do you want to come up next? You get to choose.
Let's bring up Graham.
All right, Graham, you're on board. Here we go, Graham. All right, Graham was a surprise this year. He didn't even know he was coming. Like 2 weeks ago, I don't even know if he knew that he was coming to ASTE 25. Graham, tell us who you are and just what your thoughts were really quick about ASTE.
Absolutely. I feel like my name's Graham. I own Alaska Escape Rooms. We've won 2 international awards. I've grown up in Alaska, and we're doing great things in building these worlds and these immersive worlds that kind of merge technology and reality. And I was unaware of ASTE at all until until I heard from you, and having found like-minded people that are excited to solve community-wide problems and prepare our children for kind of an uncertain future as far as technology is concerned, and that real world application and project-based learning and the things I discussed with the teachers were just so incredibly exciting to know that you're here helping shape this state. So that's my experience with it. This is the first time here as a business owner and a vendor, but really I'd like to be part of this community. I align with the values and the passions and love to see how this helps affect our state, because I don't think there's been a more important time to have you.
All right. I love that. Chills. Yes, sir. All right, Anthony, who's coming up next?
All right, let's do Mr. Sean.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go. Sean. All right, Sean, tell us who you are and you've been to a lot of ASTEs.
Oh, yes. So this was actually my 6th year attending ASTE. It's been a super fun journey. When I first came up to Alaska, obviously from the UK originally, it was, a whole new world to me. So not just an experience of what ASTE brought to me, but also the culture that comes with Alaska as well. It's been really, really great being part of Promethean and ASTE, being one of, a big sponsor, having the ability to be able to give back to the community with our Promethean panels as well. It always brings a lot of hype and a lot of buzz. I just love interacting with the teachers and the tech directors and hearing about all the new things that are coming together. And obviously for ourselves at Promethean, we can be part of that. Even with Graham, and we had a great conversation of how we could integrate like a Promethean panel into an escape room and things like that. But it's really just the community feel that I love about ASTE, where everyone is together, for that dedicated weekend. And prom was amazing as well. I'm just going to reflect on that. What a fun time.
We will be definitely talking about that for sure. Awesome. And so you originally came from the UK to ASTE, like you were there and then you came to Alaska.
I was working for Promethean as a education consultant,
Mhm.
so really focused on how to like implement Promethean into the classroom and things like that. I used Promethean in a previous life as well. And then as I kind of moved along the roles, I became a sales account executive, and now I'm the regional sales manager covering Minnesota West.
Awesome.
Nice.
And you might not know this, but Sean also just turned 40. So happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Our last panelist. Okay, be prepared for your smile muscles to start hurting, okay? Because you're going to be using them quite a bit. Our dear friend and ASTE keynote, Mr. Derryberry. Jed,
Hey
how's it
everybody,
going?
how's it going?
Yeah, I guess you made it back to is it South Carolina? All right.
Yeah, we made it back, a long journey back, but we made it. And believe it or not, when I landed in South Carolina, guess what? It was snowing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was snowing down here. It was wild. It was wild. We saw more snow on the ride home from the airport falling than we actually saw the whole time we were in Alaska. So
Yeah.
it was wild. It was wild.
It is weird. It is super weird weather. It's probably how is it colder there as well?
It was really, really cold yesterday and the day before. Today, it's really nice outside. Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
when you say really, really cold, what do you mean by really, really cold?
well, the low was 18 and our wind chill was -2, so that's pretty cold for us.
Mhm.
And the highs were in the mid 30s
Wow.
for those 2 days. Yeah,
And I also and like South Carolina, you guys have humidity,
we
and
do.
humidity makes such a big difference
Yeah,
whenever it's cold,
yes.
where it's like chill you to the bone
It was
Yes.
cold.
exactly that kind of cold because there was lots of moisture, because it snowed and our snow is very different. It's just not dry. Today, though, y'all would all hate me today because
Oh,
outside it is gorgeous. Matt ran in shorts and t-shirt, so it's a nice day here. We're making up for the 2 cold days.
well, good for you because like it was pretty warm here yesterday,
Yeah.
like here in Alaska. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain about the weather. A lot of people will, but you won't find me doing it. I should have asked you guys this. Well, you know what, Jed, tell us really quick though. I don't want to move on before I ask
Okay.
you. How did you feel about your keynote with us?
I felt really good about it. I love the crowd. I'm the type of speaker that I just feed off the crowd. So the more interactive the crowd is, the better I feel like I do. And ASTE crowd was so great. This was my very first time at ASTE. And I just hope I get to come back. I loved my experience. I loved every person that I talked to. I made some great connections with some of the vendors that were out in the lobby, some people who came to my sessions. I've already got messages on my Instagram. There was a lady, and I'm going to say her name. Let me make sure I say it right. She just emailed me. Christy Christy
Oh,
Therial.
yeah, yeah, I
She
know who she is.
emailed me and said that she went right back to school and they over like 200 kids made pipe cleaner hats and wore them
Oh,
around school
cool.
all day. Wore 'em around school all day, and they had to report back and talk about how many new people that they talked to that day because of their hat. So I love that.
Wow.
That next day implementation.
Yeah.
That's great. It's funny watching people leave Jed's sessions. You know that they were just at his sessions and nowhere else because they will have some crazy pipe cleaners going on situation. It's insane. I love that your sessions were filled up, every single one of them.
Thank you. I'll tell you that the hat, it's a little bit of a marketing trick also, because then when they leave your session and they're wearing those hats, everybody who didn't come to your session has a little bit of FOMO.
Hmm.
So that's why swag is important at the tables. That's why, a little takeaway from the keynote. That's why I use the make the little book. So you have a little takeaway.
Yeah.
Makes people wish they were there.
So clever. Awesome. All right. I really just want to ask you this because we're reflecting on this. We're just a few days out from this. And I just want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very tired and 10 being you could take on a Mount Kilimanjaro. Where on that scale of tiredness are you at this point? Anybody can answer. I'm a -1 right now, coming from a -5. So I'm doing better, just so you know.
I
I
can
had,
jump in, Melody,
go
if you
ahead.
want. So we flew back from Alaska. So I left Anchorage at 11:59, fell asleep in the airport, got the call saying, "Hey, Mr. Taylor, you're the last one to board the plane." And I heard it. I woke up. The flight was delayed by like 40 minutes. I
Because
flew
of
back to.
you? Was it delayed
No,
because oh
no,
okay.
no. I'm not. I'm special, but I'm not that special. um, and yeah, so red eye flight back into Denver, Colorado, and I jumped straight in a lift ride and went straight to another conference
Oh my God.
Wow.
where we just spent the last 3 days as well up in Loveland, Colorado, doing a conference there. And it's one of those ones very similar to ASTE where we just take tons of panels, want to be a big part of the conference. And yeah, it was pretty wild. So Thursday night, we packed away, put all 7 panels back in a storage locker, and then I had my other job. So I'm on about a -1, I think, as well right now.
Yeah.
Just this weekend's going to be a lot of catch up.
You look so fresh. I would never know, Sean. And we've got
Never.
Clifton.
Yeah.
He's saying hey to you. It's Mr. Promethean. So good. Thanks for joining us, Clifton. You rock. Also, yes. All right. Who else wants to say how tired are you really?
I think whenever I got in, because I flew back to Eastern Standard Time, so I have jet lag on top of that. And, you know, the only way out of Alaska is a red eye flight most of the time. So I came back pretty exhausted. I think I slept for 14 hours straight. And then, you know, when I went back to work, you know, there was a nice big pile of paperwork with my name on it and several messages that said, this sounds like a problem for Nikki when she gets back. So, you know, you love being needed, but it's also like, man.
I feel that. I feel that. It was like kids' appointments, everything, nothing stops. And all of our teachers went right back to work too. But yeah, who else do you guys want to, you know, commiserate with how tired you are? Go ahead, Graham.
Hey, I have to say, I mean, tired, yes, not a morning person, never will be. To be up at all this early, to me, this is early. I'd rather work at 2 a.m. But that being said, all the conversations and ideas that are firing from this conference have actually been a source of fuel for me lately, and I've been really excited to keep it going and to really try to figure out, based on everything I learned, you know, what the next step is going to look like. So although tired, yes, and those conversations have attacks. The floor was lava this morning. I didn't want to touch it, but I'm also so excited to be here too. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
Right. Tired but energized. That's a really good feeling. I am as well. I'm excited, and I'm so glad you're bringing that energy to this panel because that's exactly what we hope for. Like it's a good kind of exhaustion, honestly. Anybody else want to share?
Well, I obviously came back to the East Coast time too, and we had a very non-eventful flight, which is great.
Yes.
And I went to sleep just fine when I got home. You know, slept. I am an early morning person. I like to get up about 6:30. But Friday morning and Saturday morning today, I slept till after 10 a.m. and that never happens. So I'm going to give myself a 4/5 because I'm recuperating. Seems to be nicely. I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I sleep till 10 tomorrow. I might go to the doctor.
Well, Clifton says that he worked with Sean at Promethean. He says, I'm tired still. I was supposed to leave Anchorage at 5, but my flight was canceled and I got to hang out at the airport, which is so fun, isn't it? Until midnight. So, all right. Yes. Very long day for sure for you. All right. Finish this. Oh, wait, no. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Something that Anthony and I really like to do when we'd go on our live streams, we like to give shout outs. So, you know, I think Jed, you kind of started this with Christy, but were there any, and I actually want to give a shout out to Hedrick Nichols. She was going to join us this morning and she flew up from Texas, but her son from the military is visiting. So she wants to get all the time in with him. And Chris, shout out to you. Thank you for your service. Who are some educators that you really connected with this last week that you would just want to give a shout out to? Or maybe they're not even ASTE. Maybe they're just doing the great work of education from anywhere and you just want to give them a shout out. Go ahead.
I have two. Um, so these two educators were actually some of our leadership award winners. Our teacher of the year, Christy Catronio. I have known Christy for about 10 years. Wow. And she has just always been that person that has been supportive, that lets you bounce ideas off of her. And I'm the type of processor that I need a sounding board. I need to state my ideas, to figure out kind of to organize my thoughts. And then and again, she was that person for me and has always been that person for me. And then kind of bouncing off that same idea, love a sounding board. Our administrator of the year, Dr. Tanya Duce, we got to talking a little bit about research, and I'm a doctoral student. So I'm trying to find where I want to do my research. And like I said, my best thinking strategy is just to have a sounding board and just to talk to people. And she provided that to me. And I love that our leadership award winners, continued to prove their leadership just in the conversations that were had at ASTE.
Yeah, congratulations to both of them. They worked really hard and definitely more than earned those awards for sure.
I got some big shout outs. Big shout outs, Melody. So I want to just say big congratulations to Amber Bright from Matsu, and also I need to do a little bit of scrolling here. Dana Serafas from ASD that won the two panels. So but some bigger shout outs as well for me was the Konica Minolta folks that I was with. They were the lanyard sponsor for the event. We kind of throw ourselves into ASTE. So a big shout out to Clifton Scroggins, Cody Frichtel, and John Clemens from KMBS. It takes a lot. Oh, and Carly as well. Yeah, I need to shout out to Carly. I mean, you can see the panel behind me. It takes a lot to get these things, up to Alaska, kind of the pre-planning, and they kind of do all my logistics and then get the panels to the conference. Then we have to set them up. So yeah, and a massive shout out to Carly Grover from Promethean, her first ASTE, which she absolutely loved as well. I think just another couple, just the people that we have relationships with, right? The people from a vendor perspective, we have customers that come back and they talk to us. They can it's a chance to give like honest feedback. We do come back after ASTE, by the way, right? Where we do have a presence up there, but it's really like those relationships that we like to hone in on. So I saw Amanda Adams, on the dance floor. I'm like, whoa, you weren't here. And it's always good to connect. And Eric Soderquist from Kino Pen as well, just another big shout out there, just to be able to connect with them, see how their projects are going. And then I can't forget Justin Michaud as well from Matsu, just to be able to have that time face to face with them in person, uninterrupted, not necessarily on a camera or having to run around doing 10 other things. It was just a really good time to sit, reflect, and kind of relax at ASTE as well. Having everyone in one place is really big from a vendor perspective, because I'm not jumping on all these little planes trying to buzz around, organize all these things. It's just phenomenal. So, and just all the amazing people that entered as well to win this. Nathan from Bristol Bay Bar, he calls himself the swag goblin. He's the one that's running around trying to get all of the swag and put it into one thing, and we overheard it, so he's forever going to be called the swag goblin in my head. But
I love that. Sean, something that you mentioned and something that you're alluding to too with these shout outs, just the power of relationships, like coming back every year, growing those relationships. It really is important, and that's what we're all about. And we have to be about those. Our state is special in that we are very isolated from the rest, so we count on those relationships. So thank you for being here. Amber, who I think should go to Vegas with her luck. I mean, she was winning prizes. She says, I'm so excited for my Promethean board and my middle school kids come in every day and ask if it's here yet. So that is so cool. Amber, I'm going to drop the link. If you want to join us, Amber, you're more than welcome to join us on this panel this morning, but I get it. It's Saturday morning. You might not have showered. Your teeth might be yellow, so no worries if you... But also, and I want to say for Amber too, just give her a shout out. She joined us for a panel for edu authors and she's just an amazing author, incredible educator. So glad that she was also able to come this year. Yeah. Anybody else have some educator shout outs?
I have a shout out. I've been working the past couple of weeks in addition to ASTE, helping co-direct a middle school play here in Kodiak. And we had the kids had their opening show last night, and I am so incredibly proud of them. They did such a wonderful job. It was just all that hard work paid off, and you could tell the kids were just so happy and proud of themselves and all the efforts that they put into it. But the director and the person who initially put it on, Tammy Fogel, I wanted to give a shout out to her and say, hey, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this and help spread the joy and love of theater with these young learners. So thank you, Tammy.
Awesome. Kudos to all of Tammy, you, and all of those young people who were acting. Great job. No wonder you're so tired. You're at like a -15 right now. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jennifer Johnson, love the spender speed dating. We're definitely going to get to that. We're going to get to that very soon. I can't wait to. All right. And also, just again, if you
I
attended,
think I see a. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I think Graham had one.
Oh, I just want to say from the outside in, this conference was very intimidating. Teachers have this hero-like status in all of our hearts. If you're not part of this sphere, and you might not even always be aware of it, the idea of presenting in front of presenters, professional presenters, is terrifying. This was the most welcoming community I'd ever seen that was so engaged and passionate. The conversations were so powerful and, like you were saying, relationship-based. I felt like everyone I talked to, I had commonality with, and in terms of values and hopes and opportunities. I've never. It was such a gift. I would say all the edge. I didn't have one bad conversation. There wasn't one person I didn't find some sort of ground with that I enjoyed discussing and talking to. All of you. I mean, from the outside, I have a different perspective on it, and it was what a fantastic group of people. Like truly amazing people.
You know, Graham, you are a special person. Like you just jumped in full, was it 2 feet? Like, what is the saying? I can't even remember, but like you completely immersed yourself into our ASTE community. And it's no wonder that you're coming out with all of these good and positive things to say, because you fit in so well. And great comment from Stacy. ASTE was so fun this year. Thanks for all your hard work. Love my sessions with Jet and Sean. Yes. And I'm going to say for Sean, he's like, he had a scheduled session way up like in a tower or whatever, and he's like, let's just do it at the ballroom. And a shout out to our AV guy Mike, but like you just made it work there. You just owned the floor. So good for you. That was awesome for y'all. And again, I put the link out there. Jennifer and Amber, if you want to join us, just climb on that link and you can come on up or whatever. But yeah, so great. Oh, and we have more comments. I love this. Midnight Escape Room was epic. Nikki, were you part of that Midnight Escape Room?
I was, and it was amazing. And escape rooms are a big passion of mine and my partners, and we do a lot of them. So I know quality when I see it, and Alaska Escape Rooms puts together an excellent escape room. So highly encourage you to check those out. And just a little shout out. I love how collaborative you are, and like how much you want to engage with our community as a member of the community at large. And you've just been a great example of what those partnerships could be. And so you're kind of our guinea pig, and I feel like you're a pretty successful guinea pig at that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm having some real FOMO about missing out on that Midnight Escape Room. I'm going to tell you, I love an escape room, and I missed out on it. And was it actually at midnight?
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty late. We rounded up a group, and everybody changed out real fast and walked right down. It was just a few minutes away.
I'm sure I was asleep by then, but I hate I missed it.
Well, you'll have to come back, Jed. Yeah, you'll have to come back. Yes. All right. Ooh, yes. Me too. FOMO is real. I I just want to say I probably would have gotten a lift. I don't think I would have walked to it, but I'm so lucky that even though I missed it that night, I'm for sure gonna go. I'm gonna take my family. We're definitely going to do the Alaska escape rooms. All right, moving on. Finish this sentence. Prom night was anybody.
Epic.
Well, for me, it felt a lot like prom night
Oh yeah.
because I was on the wall watching all these teachers gone wild. Like no one was even giving them beats. They just did it on their own. And they're dancing and they got moves I didn't realize people had. That was awesome. I definitely felt it felt like prom for me. I was that weird kid on the wall, like looking like, oof, I can't keep up with that. That's okay. Does anyone want to do an escape room afterwards? I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I
It
can
was-
answer it in one word.
Yeah.
I can't do it in one word, right? So we'd been out, we went and had something to eat, came back, and Anthony and Melody had set up like just this like amazing esports where people were playing esports on the panel, and every time on our Promethean panels, every time that I looked over there, someone was engaged with them, hitting the buttons hard, and prom can be what you want it to be. So I'm glad that we could be a part of it that way. And then obviously you learned not to give me a microphone ever again.
No, sir. No, sir.
But we
You
were
have
in
a
the
job
Penguin
next
Dance.
year.
It was
You have a job
great.
next year, and you are helping us to DJ and MC next year's dance, whatever form that takes. Who knew that you had those incredible skills and you got everyone dancing and hopping around and sweating?
Yeah, it was just an absolute blast. I mean, even the DJ was like, "Hey, like I don't have that connection," so I ran up to my room, got the iPhone port, plugged the iPhone in, and we did the penguin dance. There's so many things that I just and we just had an absolute blast. And big shout out to Clifton on on Dr. Pepper. That guy did nearly 3 miles of dancing on the dance floor. His Apple Watch was like, "Hey, you're doing exercise. It's great." So, just a blast and just a way to just to be able to like relax with everyone and just let loose. And the next day, you get that little side eye of like, "I got you, I got you."
I
All right,
will
Stacey.
say that prom is a 16-year-old kid's game, because I think I'm at a 3-song max, and then I got to take a break. So, but the confidence that I have now, as just like at ASTE, surrounded by my people, you know, nowhere near the confidence of a 16-year-old. So I think it was very surreal. I thought it was really fun.
For sure. I'm going to be honest here. Like, I only went to my senior prom. I didn't go to my junior prom because I was super awkward my junior year. And I was just like, yeah, not this one. But and I didn't even really dance that much because my feet felt like applesauce after a really long day of running around. But I really enjoyed this prom more than I enjoyed my senior year prom. The after party was a little bit different. It looked a little different. But like, and I was so impressed with, Graham, you said like educators have the moves, like seriously. And we're talking, the penguin dance included, Sean, and the way that you just like had the entire dance, like you just got everybody touching each other, the hips, all this stuff. I mean, it was wild, but like nobody really needed an invitation to get on the floor. Everybody just started dancing, and teachers gone wild. I mean, seriously, like we are a ton of fun. Educators are the best time, and if you didn't know that, you got to see it for yourself this first time. Like we are a ton of fun. Jed, I wish you could have been there because you would have had a blast. And
I
you
know
danced too.
prom night was missed by me it's kind of a funny story why I missed though. Can I tell it? It's kind of funny. Y'all might not think so, but anyway, we went dog sledding. We went dog sledding that day, and my mom, we were in the middle of the trail, and my mom said, "Hey, can you call my phone?" Because she had lost her phone out in the snow in the trail, right? And we found it because we had Find My iPhone on, and we found their phone, and then we left and we went to dinner. And my sister and mom are both big thrifters, so we went to the Value Village on the way back to Anchorage. And we got about 30 miles away from the Value Village, and my mom says again, hey, can you call my phone? And she had left it at the Value Village. So we had to turn around and go all the way back to the Value Village, get the phone, and then go all the way back. And by the time we got to Anchorage, our little family just needed some quiet time. we just needed to go to our hotel room and rest, because it had been a long 2 days, because we just flown in the day before. And then we got up and went, roaring into the adventure of Alaska the next day. I had a session first thing that morning on Saturday. And then we went, so I just had to miss the prom. I just had to miss.
Not next year. Not next year. You have to be there.
Next year I am doing the prom. I'm doing I'm going to find a way to get to the escape room. I'm going to do it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the sprinkler. That's my only move.
Yeah,
I'm going to reveal it next year. I have 365 days to practice.
Yes. I was actually going to learn a ton of line dances. Like, as soon as I knew the prom was a legit thing, I was going to learn a ton of line dances, but my life kind of fell apart this year. So line dances weren't in my story. Darmar says, I love how you were able to bring your family, Jed. I do too. I think it's an incredible thing that you were able to do, and amazing session, by the way. Okay. Actually, I love that segue, unless anybody else wants to talk about prom. All right. Because the next, go ahead.
Just one thing for next year, just to keep it in mind, flash mob.
Yes.
maybe during prom, maybe just at any point. I'm just going to put that bug in your ears. Flash mob for ASTE 26.
I am all for it.
Shake flash mob.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I got to Google that. I don't know what that is. But
are we going to wear like our shirts so that you get some good marketing collateral?
Yes.
100%.
Okay. I like that. All right, moving on. What are your favorite sessions, especially if you're watching? And remember, you can join us. I've dropped the link a couple of times. If you want to join our panel, come on up. But what were some of your favorite sessions?
I want to jump in on this one real quick, because I have to say, like, I've been fortunate enough to attend ASTE for several years, and then other conferences out of the state. And man, ASTE sets the bar high. It really does. I've gone to other, and I'm like, gosh, like it just doesn't live up sometimes. And so every presenter that's putting themselves out there, that's taking the time to create the material, to deliver the material, I mean, I just wanted to say thank you, because we have some fantastic presenters with some great sessions. So they make the conference just as much as our vendors do. So thank you.
Yeah. It takes all of us, for sure. It takes everybody.
I think, Melody, from a vendor perspective, the sessions, what do they mean to us? Especially the ones when you had the panels in the room and we were able to like hear people talk and interact with folks. It was just amazing to hear different perspectives on things, especially the panel that we had on AI and then the author session as well. I go to a lot of these, right? A lot of them. And when it's in the room with you, I could just passively listen along. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I just learned something. And one of the keynotes made a comment about cavemen, colleagues against virtually everything. And it's like, there's these little things that you just like pick up on and, kind of go through it. But also from a vendor, one of the things that Promethean tries to do is, we do sell things. I was trying to do it more from a educational background and perspective so that people could actually learn rather than think, how much does that cost? So I did 2 sessions, one on a kind of tech and admin and the research behind the panel, and then one for teachers where they could actually engage and get involved as well. So I love the fact that a lot of the sessions were hands-on. Stacey Roberts, big shout out to her. She was like, can I store all these boxes in your thing? And she had board games and she had all these different things in there. So just the innovation and life that's brought into them. And then as you're walking past, I didn't hear a session finish without a massive round of applause. And I think speaking to people in the booth going, what did you learn? People had reflective points to take away from every single session. It's a great job.
Awesome. And I do want to give a shout out to all of our vendors. I've heard this from more than one attendee, but they felt like the vendor sessions were just as educational as like non-vendor sessions. And and they said previously in years past, like they felt like it was a commercial, but nobody said that this time. Everybody felt like they were learning something. And I love our solution providers because you guys really do provide solutions, and that's important. And if you're willing to invest in our state, in our schools, in our learning communities, we should listen to you. So kudos to you, Sean and Graham, because everybody that went to your guys' sessions really did appreciate it. I'm going to give a couple of people. Jennifer says the Holly Clark AI. Yes, a lot of people loved her keynote. They were learning something new, and that was great. Stacy says my favorite sessions were any that I wasn't presenting. She did. Stacy had a lot of presentations this year, and I got to go to one of hers, and it was really great. She actually did like a low key tech one at the very end, which I thought was such a clever way to help educators reflect at the end and just kind of relax a little bit. So youth presenters, I want to have more of that next year. How many of you think that having more youth presenters would be exceptional? And getting more students to ASTE, I feel like that can be a major drive next year for a mission. Taking the hat creating Jed session for my school for STEAM night. All right, Jed, what do you think about that?
I love that idea. I want to say two things that I loved. The Chickaloonies. I am enraptured, enthralled by their work.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I did not get enough time with them. I needed more time with them. But my sister just texted. She's watching, and she was there. She was there as she presented, and she said, "I know you are talking about favorite sessions, but I just need to let you know that I love a flash mob idea. Please make it happen." So
Yes.
she just texted. She may be a little bit behind. I don't know if the live is like in real time, but
it is. But she might have started from the beginning. That's so great. Thank you, Johnny Lynn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will say Chickaloonies are coming back. Absolutely. I love that live artwork. They make beautiful work and they're just so personable. And yes, please, they'll come back through ACS or anybody.
Yes.
It was so amazing just to sit there and watch in real time. And while I was doing my keynote, more than one time, I got distracted by what was going on back there because I wanted to watch what they were doing on the, I was glad that I had those moments where I was walking around talking to people so I could check out their paper and see what they were creating. It was amazing.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, just real quick, I did not have the chance to attend many sessions, unfortunately, because of things, but I was able to sit in on Ishmael Hope's session in the ballroom, and it was phenomenal. It kind of caters to perhaps a different audience of the literary audience who enjoy poetry, and we explored a lot of Native American, indigenous poetry, and it was incredible. Very powerful session, and we got to read some of his poetry and other poets around the nation. And I got to take home a book, which was a compilation of Alaska Native and Native American poetry. So really grateful for that.
And everybody is just, thank you for all these comments. This is so cool that you are sharing. Love Sean's educator session. I learned a lot of new tools and strategies for Promethean. It's hard to choose just one as my favorite, but I think I would pick Jed's session where he shared 9 children's books and STEAM activities to go with them. Yes. And thank you, Holly. Yes, for joining in. She's like, this lady is just going everywhere around the world. This is her one day to be at home for right now before she jets off, I think, to China. I probably am wrong. But yes. And then agreed. Love Casey and Demi's work, 80%. Studios, we got to do the flash mob, and we got to make a TikTok. I meant to do a TikTok with everybody this year and totally didn't. But yeah, and Keisha says, love the poetry reading with Ishmael Hope. Yes, that was, I think you have to be really intellectual to understand poetry. I like creating just like limericks, just like fun, but like he was sharing some beautiful, beautiful poetry. So that would, yes. Okay. Yes, China. Okay. Well, enjoy your time home. Thank you for coming to Anchorage, Holly, and I hope that you had a wonderful time with us because we sure had a wonderful time with you. And I want to say, I also got to go at the very end, like you, Anthony. I didn't get to go to a lot of sessions, but on the last day, it was incredible to see so many educators still showing up at 8 a.m. to go to these sessions. I was able to see Rachel Pearson's, and it was, oh gosh, it was about like storytelling through
Scratch.
Yes, yeah, and coding. Yeah, and Scratch was one of the things. So that was really cool to see. But
Mhm.
yeah, anybody else want to share before we move along? And I
Oh.
want to respect everybody's time. Go ahead. Oh,
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I'm with Sean. I just the things that I heard were so thought provoking, and it was like I'm sitting here trying to think about, my thing, but then I just kept getting distracted. But all this great information that was just pouring out, and not only that, I would also add that a lot of the presenters were really good. And I was actually learning about presenting by watching them when I could. I was facing the wrong way, but I kept trying to steal looks. And I hope next year I'm going to put someone else in that booth and try to catch more of them, because everything I heard was amazing and really thought provoking. So,
love
I
that.
just want to say really quick, a shout out to the whole culture of ASTE, because I go to a lot of conference, and the last day, the last session, the last keynote is often like not well attended. The ballroom was full of people on that last session, and with Victoria, and I think that says something to the culture of ASTE, is that people are hungry to learn and collaborate. So kudos to y'all for cultivating that. It was good to see.
All of our keynotes were all very well attended. Even yours, Jed, at 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Like, I go to conferences, and I used to go a lot more than I do now. But at 8:30 in the morning, I wasn't always ready to listen. And I mean, you even taught us how to dance. What was that dance? And we did it.
It's called the alley cat.
Meow. Okay.
Look, I just had my first sip of a beer. It's 2:00 here, and I just about spit it out when you meowed. That was
It's great to hear from Julia. She says ASTE's group is so collaborative. Yes, the culture of ASTE, the community is amazing, and something that I think sets us apart from other conferences and maybe from the lower 48 is just that you know we are serious about learning, and I think that you could see that when you are in the sessions. Like, there's a lot of questions asked. People are they are serious about taking what they've learned from their sessions and going back to their learning communities and sharing it with their fellow teachers and their students and putting it into action. And all of us know that, like, if you learn something and you want to put it into action, you have to do it like within 2 weeks to make sure that it sticks. I am actually looking forward to that. I want to do another panel where, like, what did you learn and what have you put into action? How is it going? So I hope to do that as well. But yes, thank you. Caught him mid-drink. Yes, I'm glad you didn't spit it out, Jed. That would have been crazy. Harley Clark says, the way you treated attendees is above anything I've seen before. Thank you. Oh my gosh, all of you guys, everybody in this panel and that is commenting, you all are a part of that. I felt like, especially in the state of the world right now where it feels a little bit scary, there was a lot of love at ASTE, and it was very safe. And honestly, I didn't really touch my social media at all the whole time. I just didn't have time to, and I didn't want to. And I'm usually the selfie queen. Like, I'll go around snapping pictures, posting. I didn't care about that. I was there to absorb and just be there in the moment with everybody who was there. Nikki, I don't get to see anymore. She was there. I was like, I was going to spend time with my friends. So yes, thank you for saying that, Holly. And we're just so glad that you were able to be there.
Can I jump in real quick before we move on? So since Holly's on, I just wanted to give a shout out to Holly. My teenager was one of the several teens floating around helping, and she got caught up in Holly's keynote, and she was just fascinated. And her dad was like, "We've got dinner, it's ordered, it's here." And she's like, "I don't care, I'm here, this is amazing, it can get cold." Like, she was so enthralled with it, and just, it was so great to have her see and experience that, and then be in such a community of other learners, but also have a message that resonated with her as a teenager, as someone who's in school and living it and having the challenges with AI in school. So I really appreciated that. It was super inspiring for her. And it meant a lot to me as a mom, but also just as my work with ASTE too. So thank you.
Yeah. I love that. And your kids are amazing, Alexis. I'm so glad they were able to be there. We need to get more youth to ASTE, and that just needs to be like just something that we move forward, always having as a part of our students, because this is why we do it. All right. Do we have an advertising discount scholarship for more teens? That could actually, that's a really good idea, Julia. And I might be, yes, we might need to collaborate on that. Yes. Awesome. All right. How's everybody doing on time? All right. Okay. If we're good, I'm going to keep going. All right. What were your favorite events at ASTE?
I'm still considering Melody like what the Anchorage pipe cleaner stock is going to be like. Just commenting back on, where we're at. Like, it's going to be like the toilet paper fandangle that we had a couple of years ago. There's just going to be all of this toilet, pipe cleaners and people walking around with hats. And I think just to see people walking around, it's something that caught my eye. I'm like, who did that? And it, again, it sparked that conversation. We're not going to reflect on prom again, but prom was one of my biggest ones, and the speed dating, I would say, that you did from a vendor perspective. It was just really, really great to have a solid 6 minutes with some of the folks that maybe are a little bit more shy, but they came up as a little group and a table, and then they kind of they had 6 minutes to ask questions, explore, and I think to get rewarded as well with like the QR code, and they could get points and give feedback. I think there was just really, really amazing. I talked to people that probably wouldn't have spoken to me if not.
Yeah, I've attended many ASTE, and we've tried many things. Nikki had the duck game, which was awesome. We've just had many different iterations of getting attendees to interact with vendors, and this one felt so natural and so wonderful. And like you had said, the people who may be shy and don't really want to communicate, you have the safety of a group, so you don't necessarily feel like you have to, but it still gets them out there and kind of breaks the ice and allows them to connect. So I agree with Julia. It was a really good idea. And next year, ASTE, the first day happens to fall on Valentine's Day. So
it's another thing on speed dating, just like from an attendee's perspective. I know that sometimes talking to vendors one-on-one can be maybe intimidating is not the right word, but it's such an open box of like, if I'm going around the vendor hall and I'm trying to talk to people, I don't know if it's going to take me 3 minutes or 10 minutes or, and I think having structure around it really helps, because I mean, just like how our students benefit from structure, we benefit from structure as well. And I've always said, I think I told Graham this, I love a structured social event. I do love being social, but if it's just like throw us all in a room and we're going to socialize, sometimes I might regress into myself, and especially like teachers, whenever, our livelihood is just being on and presenting, but we do have that structure around it. So I think it just really, encouraged that communication that doesn't necessarily always happen because we provided a structure for it.
Mm-hmm. And really, and I just want to give you a shout out, Nikki, because like you took it and ran with it. So like you took this idea. It was so fun how you did it, because you know how speed dating works. So you really incorporated those special parts of it and made it work. And then like Anthony and I were able to close it up. And then even Alexis, you created the phenomenal, PowerPoint or whatever, the presentation to share it with everybody. So it really was a group effort. And it was so funny because when we were brainstorming this at the beginning of the conference, I wasn't sure that we were going to call it Speed Dating Forever. But you know what? Why not? The day after Valentine's Day. And like Anthony said, we're starting on just encourage you guys that it's going to be even spicier. Like you haven't even seen what speed dating can be. It's going to be so much fun. But really, the whole point of it was just to get everybody talking, because this conference is for everybody. We literally could not do it if we didn't have our sponsors and our exhibitors or attendees. Like, if you guys are so key and integral to this, that it was just for me to see everybody talking, that was my whole point. I wanted to break down those barriers, and we freaking did it. And it was fun. The vendors had fun. The attendees had fun. I mean, it was amazing. And when I look at the feedback from the event, even our exhibitors said like 85% was just great conversation. And networking, you never know, like maybe it's not something that is a solution for your classroom specifically, but down the line you may find somebody who needs that solution, and you know exactly who to connect them with. And I think that was just, yeah, that's just everything. Stacy says, I have always loved vendor time. I don't shy away from the conversation, but I love seeing so many people come out of their shells during that time. Julia says, table teams made it easy to play off another person's question or to have time to think on a response and draw up the next question, moved conversation along nicely. I think that this year showed us what we can do differently and gave us so many great ideas how to move forward. So if you loved it this year, just wait till next year. I promise you it's going to be even more exciting. Some of the feedback that I've already had from our exhibitors was, you know, why didn't we do this on Sunday? And you're right. Like, why didn't we? We should have. It would have been excellent. So we will be incorporating that energy next year as well for all of the exhibitor time that we have. Yes. And I tend to be bossy, you guys, when I do this, and I tend to move along. So stop me if you have other things that you want to talk about. Okay. Because I talk and I go. So I'm stopping myself. Go ahead.
I wanted to say on the vendor speed dating that for us, we didn't exactly know how to plug in. So being able to have that opportunity to talk, like you're saying, to a group of people who are feeding off each other, to ask questions and better understand what's going on was really valuable. But like what Nikki was saying, and I really feel in every event that I've done and in talking to adults constantly in a play-based environment, that adults need permission to play and they need permission to socially engage. And it's a very strange concept that we think about this a lot for kids, but it's for adults too. And you have to structure, just like Nikki said, an environment. It's like a social what do they call it, a moral holiday. You know, these events that within this sphere, the rules are different. And you can create these time-based or event-based things that have a better effect when you give them that allowance and permission. And I completely agree with Jed and Nikki that this is the way to approach a lot of social adults are lonely and they don't always know how to talk to other adults. And it's something we think we're teaching the kids, but the reality is we need it just as bad or even more so.
Well, what happened here is that ASTE gave adults permission to play.
Yep.
We need permission to play. That's what escape rooms do. They give us permission to play, you know?
Yes.
Promethean boards and the esports on the board, they give them permission to play. That's why I was gonna jump in and say, I loved that, you know, giving the title speed dating, it took something what could be boring, you know, just you're instead of just saying like rotating through the sponsors or rotating through the vendors, you turned it into a game and you made it fun and playful. That's exactly what we need to do with everything. And that's what I was going to say, far as favorite events, you know, the prom, you could have just called it, you know, a meetup, but you called it a prom. It made it more fun. You're wearing that headband right now. You're making this more. Your lights behind you are more fun. That was the overall vibe that I got from the whole ASTE experience, is that it was intentionally providing opportunities to be playful and giving us the permission to do so. Bravo.
Awesome.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Gosh, you guys are awesome for sure. I love it. And you know, and it wasn't just about speed dating. Were there other events also that you found that were just super fun that we want to give a shout out before? And again, I want to respect everybody's time. So you tell me if you have to drop off, we totally understand. We just thank you so much for being a part of this. But we have a couple more things we want to talk about. So if you're willing to stick around and talk, we've got some stuff going. And thank you to everybody who's chiming in.
I enjoyed the midnight escape room run too. That was so much fun. That was a hoot. Getting to see people in another angle. Like I didn't know how it was going to go from open bar to escape room, or bar, but it went just fine. Turns out teachers are ridiculously smart, and even when you cut their cognitive abilities in half, they still do better than most people. So.
Wait, I didn't know that the midnight escape room also involved inebriated educators.
They're coming out of prom.
I really have FOMO now. Really have FOMO.
I was in the group that I think Grib described as chaotic, but we still got, like, we bypassed a couple clues and still got it was chaotic. But one of my favorite event was definitely prom. I think that, you know, from like all of the different like things that we had combined with it, where GCI sponsored that photo booth, which was so much fun. We had the esports back on the Promethean panels, and you know, and that kind of gives people, you know, just given the type of people that come to an event like ASTE, you know, for a lot of us, whenever we were teenagers, having, you know, a place where we could play video games or something during prom would have been extremely helpful. And I think, yeah, it gave so many opportunities to connect, to play, to just have a blast. And like, in, you know, for some of us, did not have a great prom experience when we were teenagers, and this was almost like healing in a way, which I thought was really cool. I didn't expect to be healed at ASTE, but here I am.
Hey,
And Nikki, I was going to say, some people didn't even go to prom in high school, so this was like a second chance for them. Sorry, Jen. Go
no,
ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt. Matt's yelling at me that lunch is ready in there, so I'm going to go. But I wanted to, earlier when we were doing shout outs, I didn't know if we would get to like I don't know, any other shout outs, and I skipped this. I want to give a shout out to Phoebe and Sierra, who attended my sessions. Phoebe, she had to be like maybe 3 or 4 years old, maybe not even that old. And then Sierra, y'all met Sierra, 5th grader. Y'all, they sat through my session and participated. The littlest one, she took her headphones off so she could listen to me. That just blew my mind away. And Sierra really wanted to participate, and she drew this picture of me. And when I told everybody how to say my name, like Fruity Cow, she drew her rendition of a Fruity Cow. And I was obsessed with these two kids, and I love that there were kids in sessions. It just, I don't know, it just made my whole experience better. Because when you teach college, you don't get much of this anymore. I liked it a lot. So.
Well, Jed, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate everything that you contributed to ASTE and part of our community. We look forward to working with you in the future. And just thanks for being so playful and fun. Yeah. And tell Matt we said hi.
I will. I love y'all bunches. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Stacy says, I would have loved to have some games or options available for a quieter evening or lunch. That's good to know. That is good to know. Is it okay if I move on to something else, you guys? Because this kind of is a natural segue. You know, like our takeaways, these are our takeaways. And one of our board members actually said, like, I'm not really into prom. I don't want to dance. What about the people that, you know, are quieter, you know, are less likely to dance or whatever. So I do feel like, you know, the tables, letting people just sit. Then we had the esports in the back, which was Anthony's idea. Like that was for sure. But, you know, we could definitely incorporate more of that. I would love to have like a mental health kind of area, just one room designated where people can go for quiet time at any point of ASTE. But, and I mean, this is what I always tell my students, and they always say, a big but. What are some of your ASTE takeaways? Like, what is something, and this may be redundant, so I apologize for that, but what is something that you will take with you, and definitely want to hear conversation from those watching? What is something from ASTE this year that you're going to take with you to your classroom, to your life, just that it's going to stay with you?
For me, I would say community is key. And that was evidenced during the conference. Before the conference too, what you and I and other board members have been trying to do with exhibitors, as well as with educators around the state, and just building this community and keeping the community going. We have in the past done ASTE, been extremely exhausted afterwards, and we don't really think about it until April retreat, the board comes together, we kind of plan some ideas until our next board meeting in like August or so. And then we hit the ground running, but we did not do that. Like, we've been doing it consistently, and we have seen now the fruits of our labor. Like, we have built a great community. It's not just ASTE members. The fact that we have Sean and Graham here and other vendors who chime in, you are part of the ASTE family as well. And I think it's just a beautiful thing, and I look forward to seeing it grow. And then one last thing is, as I was thinking about it earlier, we're doing speed dating, but we're an ASTE family. So think about that. No, just kidding. No,
Game of Thrones.
yeah, the love is real, and I am so grateful for everyone that I get to be a part of this. So thank you.
Me too.
Yeah, I think Melody, it's just the relationships, after coming there for 6 years, seeing the same people. Some people I don't see for a whole year, right? That they could be in, one of the more like remote locations, and they're coming up and being like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." They give a big hug, and it's gone from a handshake introduction of, "Oh, what does that thing do?" to, "Hey, Sean, how are you? Can you show me what's new? Can you help me out in your classroom?" So it's kind of really embedded for us as a company, and for me, just the solidity and the solidarity and the relationships that you can make with Alaskan educators, and know that you're making a difference in the classroom. And like some of the takeaways from even like the sessions are like, "Oh, I'm going to take that and I'm going to use it straight away," right? As we were talking about earlier. So I think having like that lasting, meaningful impact from previous and then ongoing relationships is just really, really crucial to us. And thank you for facilitating that, and making it that safe, happy space for everyone to be able to do that. I did love the vendor hall layout this year as well. It was kind of nice. I think it was more like incorporated for like everyone to be a part of it, but yeah, it's just an amazing conference. I just love it so much. That's why I'm like happy to be here, and like much love to you guys.
It means a lot, Sean. I just want you both to know, Graham and Sean, that I consider you friends. So like, yeah, like, and I think that's the best thing to take away from, a conference, is just that when you, yeah. And if you haven't joined our community, this is my little plug. Please join our Facebook community. We would love to have you. You don't have to be an ASTE member. We really do like the Alaskan educators part of that. But also, if you're just part of our community, whether you came from the lower 48 or wherever you are, please be a part of our community. We want to stay connected. A couple of, oh,
Just
sorry.
one
Yes.
small thing. I'm grateful to have Promethean as part of the group, and for them to promote their products and how it can help benefit educators. But you are a global company, right? And I think it's really fantastic that we have small businesses like Graham's to be a part of ASTE, and I really hope to see more of that in the state. Mhm.
And I'm just loving all the comments coming in. The layout was great. Love the vendors around the main stage. I love that as well. And some of the unplugged, you were talking about being unplugged. I feel like we did a good job this year of having sessions that were very techy, but also not always techy, because we are not just tech people. We are human beings. And so we were offering something for everything, and we can do that even better. Julia says, I have already been sharing some of the tools to help with student feedback, to help my teacher friends get back some of their evenings and weekends while giving positive, consistent. That's great, Julia. That is actually really amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
I think that one of my favorite things about ASTE, and just like that takeaway, is that you build your community, you build your relationships. Like, I've known Sean for several years now, and like, so seeing Sean is exciting to me, that, oh, this is one of my friends now. And I think seeing a lot of those familiar names and faces of just people who have been part of my life for several years now, and it kind of puts you on a little bit of a high in February, whenever like our spirits, our morale is pretty low, and I feel rejuvenated, because knowing that every year kind of beats you down in a certain way. And some of that beat down is people saying to someone who is an out of the box thinker, saying like, that's too much. Oh, you need to pull back. Oh, but think about this. And, because we're, I'm trying to think of the exact word, but, like we're kind of the first try at something. Like, oh, here's this new thing. I want to try it. Here's this new tool. I want to experiment with it. But with that comes a lot of the, oh, well, that's not the way that we've always done it. Oh, we've done, it's kind of a little bit of a beat down on your soul, and which really drops morale. But then going to ASTE and being just surrounded by people that are like, yes, this is a new thing. Yes, we want to try it. Yes, we want to explore. No, I've never heard about that, but I would love to explore it with you. And, just being able to share all of that, and just like, it refreshes you. And I've said that my spirits are never as high as whenever I'm at ASTE, because all of ASTE is basically me cosplaying as an extrovert when I'm really an introvert. But Graham, I saw you had something.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, I just, I'm so excited about what you're saying, Nikki, and I completely agree. I think that for a lot of states, I say Alaska is the Australia of North America. We're on our own evolutionary path, and we're a state of innovators and adapters who have, and I believe that the technology that we are embracing, you're saying, hey, we need to bring in these new programs. Trying to do that is hard because you're hitting this resistance, but the reality is that if our state is ever going to have the equitable options that other states have to overcome our logistical barriers, it's going to come down to what you're doing right now, this technology, and you're at the forefront of it. You're the one bringing it home and figuring out how to adapt it and put it in. These are the tools, and I've been saying it for 27 years. If we're ever going to have the same level of equity in a lot of these arenas, we have to leverage our technology correctly. And because that's a force function and not a theoretical, we're going to be some of the best in the world at it because we have to do it. It's not optional for us to embrace. Yeah. And so I feel like this is such an important thing. And that was a huge takeaway, is realizing that although we're spread out, we're in it together. And the tools for connecting us and for doing what we're trying to do better have never been more available to us. Right. The other thing I wanted to say is that when you get to the point of creating little stations, let me know. I have a bunch of equipment, Giant Jenga, Connect 4. If you want to add some games and do some game time, I can help you with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Graham, what you were saying is exactly what Holly was saying. Just like we have to. This is not optional anymore. And it's going to take people who are as passionate as those who come to ASTE to put these practices into place to make the changes that are necessary. And Julia, thank you so much for this comment. Yes, nice to be around more early adopters, because like Nikki was saying, it does get lonely, and it gets lonely throughout the school year when you're trying to implement change and do things that are just better for kids, but you're around people that say no all the time. And when you're with ASTE and you're in this community, they say yes. Yes, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. And share the results with others as to how it goes. And I think our Facebook community is showing that, like, allows people to share those experiences. And if you're not on Facebook, Julia had shared the Alaska Education Exchange, which is a website that allows educators to share lesson plans. They have discussion threads, a lot of really great resources there for you to connect with.
For sure. And we're so glad that you guys dropped in. Holly, thanks for taking the time to be a part of this, especially when you don't have that many days off. We have run so long. I can't believe it, but the energy is high. I do want to ask one last question. And this can be, and I think that we do need to do a drawing. So we will do a drawing for those people commenting I know how that's going to go. But what's on your mind that you just want to share before we say goodbye today, that just it seems just really important, and it can be about anything regarding this time that we've spent together?
I think this has been my favorite live stream ever that we've done. So just that's on my mind, that I love the energy. I love the conversations. And I love the collaboration that is coming in from the comments, that like I have a little notebook here that I'm just writing down ideas as we get them. And our best brainstorming, our best tools are each other.
Mhm.
Say that again.
Our best tools are each other.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love that.
About you, Graham?
Oh, I just want to say that if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I'm still understanding the systems and the requirements that you're under. I'm very, very new to this, but if there is a way that I can help, let me know and we'll try to work it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, Melody, how many people attended this year? What was the total attendance number that you had?
For attendees, it was, I believe, 247.
Okay.
247 or 248. Yeah. And to be honest with you guys, it was lower than last year. So that was, and can I be really honest and transparent? Like a month ago, Anthony and I were freaking out. We're like, are we even going to hit 200? I mean, and I knew it wasn't that we knew that we were going to put on an amazing conference, regardless of the numbers. But I just knew in my soul, this is something that stayed with me, was that what we couldn't make up in numbers, we were going to make up in connection. And I knew that coming in. And so that kind of was a relief to me, knowing that we were setting the stage for the connections to be powerful. And I don't want to get like teary-eyed or whatever, but like I feel really emotional about this, but I just feel like the energy was constant. The connections just grew and grew. And I just saw ASTE in a new way of what could be. Like some of the changes that we put into place were things that we hadn't done before. Or at least from my perspective, and I could be wrong on that, so I apologize, because I've only been a part of like 6 years of these, right? So I am so excited about growing those connections. And when we look at like state funding shortages and things like that, like our mission this year when we come back together in April as a board is, how do we make it so that we still get educators to ASTE next year? And what can we do if they how are we going to support our community through obstacles that are just out of our control? So those are things. Yeah, thank you for asking, Sean. I appreciate it.
And so, like, my further comment on it was the fact that we had 137 individual booth visits. So
Wow.
of the people there, 137 people came to us. So I just wanted to share that, from like a vendor perspective, that, the promotion of the activity, the time that people had to come and visit us was just amazing. And I just look forward to connecting with people. It's not just about capturing people's information. We get lists from people. It's about those connections. And, we've already been on a couple of conference calls with customers since, Tuesday when we got back, to engage, to focus, even with Graham. And we had a great conversation about, that was one of my takeaways, is that we can do cross collaborative relationships between ourselves as well. And like we were discussing how you could add a Promethean panel into your escape room. It's right there. It's more than just us as well. It's, what's outside of that and what people are bringing into this. So again, just thank you. We had an absolute blast, and I'm excited to reconnect with everyone again as soon as possible. And I think we need to do that more often.
Yes.
Would it be possible to bring in some of the video conferencing robotic platforms, the ones that have someone can control, to create access statewide for other people who can't fly there? I mean, because that's both a vendor, it's an application of the technology, but it also opens up the potential for more people being able to participate with some form of autonomy.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I don't know anything about it. That's your guys' gig, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep. No, that is a good point. Have people come. I know we've had virtual sessions in the past, and I mean, it works if you want to view sessions, but it's not really the same. But I know back when I first came to Kodiak, we had these robots on wheels that had iPads on them, and people would connect and drive around. And that's certainly something that could be implemented. And if you are a vendor out there who provides those services, would be a great opportunity to join. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Julia said, could a session be held recorded for district admin when the registration is open to explain what the benefits? Actually, Julia, I want to say to Anthony's credit, we've already started doing this. This last fall, we started going to other conferences, and he did actually create a sheet, and I was able to share it with ASD especially. Alexis invited me to come into a couple of her trainings, so I was able to share. So yes, we're going to do this, Julie. We're going to put it on a bigger scale. So we're starting, and everything that we started this year is just going to grow next year. But that is a great thought. Yeah, and we need people like you on the board, Julia. So next year, when elections are happening, just remember all these great ideas that you have.
She's got a lot of great comments. I've been enjoying them.
Yeah.
She does. Anthony, you had something too earlier that you put in the private chat, like about next year.
One thing on my mind is the theme for next year. So it's my job as president to kind of help come up with the theme, and I love crowdsourcing those ideas. So if you have an idea for a theme, put it in the chat, share it, email, whatever method works for you. Let us know what you would like the theme to be next year. You could put that in the feedback survey through Cvent. You could put it in the comments. Anything that you think is going to really capture the attention of educators and administrators and students, vendors throughout the state and beyond. And the idea of games and gaming, and that is something that just keeps rolling around in my head. And Graham, we're going to be talking soon. I'm just going to tell you that.
Well, I'd like to open up the escape room for more opportunities next year too. So maybe the theme could be breakout. I don't know.
Ooh, breakout. Hello. I just want to put this out there, but I think story bites harder. It's just
story
I'll
bit.
give you that. I mean,
That's a pretty sweet logo.
Okay, I am going to be going through. I'm going to be going through the comments. So who's going to say stop? Because whoever comment we stop on is the person that is going to get a gift card. Except like for people that attendees, I'm going to say if it lands on like my comment or an ASTE comment, or like it has to be like a regular attendee person, just because we really are so encouraged by your feedback. So who's going to say stop when I start going? Okay, don't everybody speak at once. Sean, thank you for volunteering. Okay, all right. Here we go. I'm going. So whenever you say stop.
Stop.
Okay. It was on my comment. So the first comment that was near that is Julia. All right, so Julia, I will be in touch. You will be getting a gift card from the ASTE board. Thank you so much for being with us today during this live stream. We appreciate you. Stacy, we appreciate you. Amber joined us as well. And I'm sorry if I forgot, but those people who joined us today, thank you so much. We are so glad that you guys were able to come. Make sure that you follow our YouTube and our Facebook channels. I have one last thing I want to say to everybody. I want to say something special to you guys. Okay, Anthony, your ability to just, you worked daily on this with me, but your imagination and also your stage presence. My God, like every time you got onto the stage, I was like, what is this guy going to say next? I am in awe of you. It was a pleasure working with you for my first year as an executive director. This would not have happened for all the, besides all, it was just amazing to work along with you. Nikki, you were like seriously like a brainiac. You can do things that I would think are harder for most people, but you have that knack. You're so intelligent. I love watching you just grow. I can't wait to call you Dr. Nikki Stein. I know that's coming up, but you also, everybody doesn't know this. Some people do. I had a full blown meltdown, like panic attack where I thought I might need to go to the hospital, but Nikki was managing, like trying to put our registration together on a Zoom call with one of our vendors and making sure that I wasn't, having a heart attack. And she was so calm and collected. And I really just thank you, Nikki, for all of that. You really are such a grounding force, and your historical knowledge really helped us this year. So I'm so glad that you're coming back next year. Sean, like I do see you as a friend. Your energy is unmatched, and I can't wait to see what we dream up next year. But you are one of those people connectors, and I love watching you work in that regard. And you just made going up to your booth fun. I loved throwing those little things at the Promethean board. That was kind of like, I needed that in that moment just to get my, you know what I'm saying? So thank
Yep.
you for, and thank you for taking the time to be a part of this today. Partnering with us and being a part of our community is something that none of us take for granted. So your smiling face, your amazing accent, we love you. And happy 40th again. That's a major milestone. Okay.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Graham, everything that you came on so quick, so fast, all of these ideas, and you embraced our entire community, and you opened up your own business, and you just let us come in, and you helped us make connections that we're never going to forget. I love your excitement, and I just am so encouraged by you wanting to partner with us for the rest of the year. Like, this is just the beginning. So you were such a surprise bonus at the very end, and honestly, it gets a little tiring at the end when you're planning all these things. So you were kind of like a kick in my butt. You were a kick in my butt right when I needed it. So thank you for that. And to everybody who's watching, Stacy, Julia, thank you for being a part of this. You two are such wonderful people and educators, leaders in Alaska. We appreciate you. So I'm going to say goodbye unless somebody wants to stop me. If you have something on your mind, say it now or forever hold your peace. Okay? All right. Y'all, thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye, but this is not going to be goodbye forever. And if you want to join us on these live streams, like literally be on the live stream with us, just let me know. I can make that happen. They're only as good as the people that we have on here and the conversation that flows. I did not plan on going an hour and a half, but we had such good things to say. So thank you for joining us for however long you did. We love all of you. Take care and have a great week and get your rest. You deserve it. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.